Hi, everybody. It's time for our lunch break musings for the day. Just again, general temperature. I don't have a particular question, or that's not true. I have too many questions in my head that are all kind of bumping into each other. And so I thought, okay, well, let's just do a draw and see what comes up to see what direction it is that Spirit's going to take us today. Okay? So, what do we get? First card, Judgment. Well, my. Doesn't that sound kind of good and or bad, depending, I guess, on which side of the judgment you're on. Um, with this, I think that people are starting to wake up and they're starting to feel like it's time for the crooks and the liars to be held accountable, which I agree with heartily. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you're a crook and a liar, you need to be found out. You need to be removed from your position and be charged, tried, convicted, and jailed. Um, that's just my personal thoughts. Next up, we drew what is this? The Knight of Cups. You could tell I don't look at these before I I read them because I have to stop and what card is that? Now the Knight of Cups, that's kind of like a creative expression. It's kind of like the romantic knight of the knights. You know, you think of the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur's time, all very chivalrous and honor bound and that kind of thing. And so I feel like what this is telling us is that one, we have to be careful that we're not swept off our feet, um, that we don't buy into the lies of some of these politicians, that we use that judgment as discernment to know the truth, but at the same time, we have to be openly creative and expressive. We have to say what we feel and how we feel and why we feel things certain ways, and not be ashamed of it. We're not all gonna believe everything in the same way, and that's okay. That's life. That's the beauty of this life, is that we don't all have to agree. We don't all have to walk in lockstep with one another. All we have to do is do our best, treat our neighbors with kindness, treat people the way that we would want to be treated, the golden rule. Um, and so I think that's kind of what this night is reminding us of, is to be kind and be gentle, be creative in how you approach things, and just don't buy into the lies. Don't allow yourself to get swept off your feet and buy into the lies. Oh, okay, next we got the Hanged Man. So, usually the Hanged Man is talking about time to wait. Don't make any moves just yet. Wait and see what's going to happen. Take this waiting time to kind of figure out what it is you want, how you want it to be. This is where manifesting can come into importance, because you take this time to sit and contemplate everything. And that can help you manifest and look at things and say, okay, this is what I want and this is how I want it to be. And it gives you time to kind of explore your own feelings, your own thoughts of what direction, not only your own life, but the life of your town, of your state, of your country, of the world. You know, what direction do you want to see all of us go in, right? So um, that's one of the good things about the hangman. Now, it can also cause you to stagnate because you wait too long. So, there again, you got to have that judgment, that discernment to know when it's time to wait and when it's time to move forward. Oh, okay. Next up, we got the Five of Wands. That's conflict, disagreements, fighting, even. That's being willing to stand your ground for what you believe in and to stand firm about it. But again, I feel like that judgment card is going to play into this. Yeah, there may be conflict, things are happening, people are arguing, fighting, disagreeing. Um, so you want to have that discernment to make sure that you don't take it a step too far. It's healthy to disagree with one another. It's healthy to not walk in lockstep and have those discussions of how things should be done. Oh wow, okay. And then next I drew temperance. So with this, you're talking about finding that balance. Okay, it's one thing to be angry and upset and wanting to off with their heads kind of attitude, but you got to remember that temperance. You got to remember to keep that balance, kind of keep everything on an even keel. Don't let yourself get so wound up that you can't even sit down and have a discussion with somebody. I think that's what we're being reminded of is to be, oh wow. All right, and then uh, last card I drew, the Magician. So the magician has all of the elements, all of the gifts at his disposal, as you can see on the card. He's even got the infinity sign above his head. So the magician is somebody who can call on any of the elements of the tarot. A magician can call on any of the magical tools at his disposal to help him or her um, hold off evil, would be a good way to look at it. Um, you think you think of the magician as, a lot of people think of a magician as somebody who's all smoke and mirrors, because they're practicing magical tricks. That's not necessarily what they're looking at. Um, they're looking at trying to use all the tools that are available to you to work in your best favor and to help bring about the things that are most important to you. Um, it's a very powerful card because it gives you access to all of the tools of the trade. And so it's important that we use that judgment, we use that temperance, we use a magician to be creative, to be responsive, to try to persuade people to see things our way, or at least have them think about it, you know, um, and to be willing to listen to their way and think about what they want. So that's, I mean, out of 6 cards, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, four major arcana, just like yesterday. So I have a feeling this week is an important week. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but I know that by Saturday, there's going to be some drastic issues that are going to come to light because we have a Congress that's too busy running around and playing the current occupant sycophants, than doing their job. And so I feel like this is an important next few days to really, when you have the opportunity and the chance to talk about things, to really get people to pay attention. I was just listening to a news program a little bit ago, and they were talking about states that are in the worst condition right now. They were talking monetarily, education, new jobs, quality of life, cost of living. I live in Louisiana, as most of you know, and we ranked 50th on all those levels. That's the bottom. There's only 50 states, and we're the bottom. That used to be the title for Mississippi. Now we're below Mississippi. What does that say? So we need to get prepared to do what needs to be done to make where we live a good place to be. It's really important that we use that judgment, we use that discernment, and that we use all the tricks of the trade to try to get people to understand just how important things are right now. And you can't just go stick your head in the sand and pretend like nothing's happening. Again, like I've been saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I'm starting to see little pinpricks of light here, there, and everywhere. That's going to help lead us into the better. So don't despair. Batten down the hatches. Get prepared for the worst. As we here on the Gulf Coast say, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. When you live with 4 or 5 months of a hurricane season, you kind of learn to operate that way. Just know that it is going to get better. We are going to come out of this on the other side, a stronger people and a stronger nation, and a more loving and giving and understanding nation. It's not going to happen by 3 o'clock tomorrow, but it's going to happen. So y'all, take heart. Continue to lift one another up. Continue to pray. Meditate. Manifest. Whatever it is that you need to do to help get you through this rough time. All right, I'm going to stop now and enjoy the rest of my lunch break because it's just a beautiful day. Wow. I don't know, maybe I can show y'all. I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous day. So y'all have a good one, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye for now.